Hello, I want to inform you today. I want to kind of like tell you about opportunities which are out there making money on the internet. Basically, the internet in the last decade or two actually and more has really captured a whole new life. Retailers and manufacturers and just about everybody is worried about what business the internet takes away, except the people who take the business away. Now, the internet business is only about 10% of all the business out there at the moment. That's not a lot. It may not even be quite 10% yet. And yet, retailers are kind of like feeling it. Another thing which the internet is doing, or makes it possible, let's say, is that small people, normal people, you, me, can actually participate in it. One doesn't have to have lots of money and structure to kind of like get into it. And this is very, very, very interesting if you consider that lately, again the last decade or two or three, only the big survive, it looks like, okay? Only the, every grocery store gets big, and every store which sells iPhones or whatever it is, they all get big. Dental practices, it's the large ones who purchase the small ones or don't even care about purchasing the small ones. They just open store, open shop and market the hell out of it because they are large, they have other monies behind it and thus can afford to do marketing. That's why doctors these days get very little money for their practice once they retire, even if it was a relatively good working practice, because those large corporations don't need it. So it's really a new, fresh breath of air. It's beautiful that there is something out there which, by design or by accident, makes it possible for literally anybody to get in and make real good money. Hi, my name is Flasch, and as you might or might not know, I've been in the dental marketing consulting business for about 30 years. And the concept of advertising was our concept for just about all the time. With this concept of advertising, we helped practices to attract more new patients and clients for other businesses, mainly in America, of course, but literally also all over the world. Dubai, Latin America, Taiwan, Singapore, and so on. Now, okay, advertising is actually a little bit incorporated in the concept which I'm going to talk to you about, the new age marketing of the internet, and how a dentist, for that much college student, can make huge amount of incomes. What is huge amount of incomes? 5-figure incomes in the low, in the high, maybe even in the 6. That is what this is all about, all right? Lately, over the last 10 years or so, more and more of our dental clients and doctor clients, chiropractor clients, have actually asked us whether we know about something, some business opportunity, some way of doing business besides of the practice, which doesn't chain them to the practice the way the practice does. Most of those people like their profession. Most of them make okay money, and most of them know that when they retire, their lifestyle will change because they cannot sell the practice for as much as they thought they will. And no, the business usually wasn't good enough to save up huge amounts, except if they managed to, make good money and somehow invest it smartly. Most of them, many doctors these days, and lately, have worked or are working 60 till 70, not because they love it so much, thanks God they love it a bit, but because they have to. And they're looking for something which gives them freedom, because real wealth, real rich, is only if you have the money you want to champion the things you want to do, whether that is golfing, being with your kids in Hawaii, or for that much in Southern California, or in God only knows where, it doesn't really matter, in the mountains, or whether that is teaching somewhere in another country your profession, or in your own country, building a new house, starting a new profession, starting some type of new business. Like I currently am starting, have started a couple of years ago, an amusement park, an entertainment center, and a event center on a lake in Austria, more or less as a hobby. You know, of course I want it to be a profitable business, but I can do it because I'm relatively free, time and finances. So if a person is free in terms of time and yet can still live the way he more or less likes to live, he is very, very happy. Let me tell you a story which started 5 years ago exactly, more or less, with me, myself. I just finished mechanical engineering school in Austria. Just finished it. Liked it, but didn't really love it. And what bugged me about it was I had to work 50 weeks in order to get 2 weeks vacation. And it wasn't the only 2 weeks vacation which bothered me so much. It was what do you do in 2 weeks? Where do you go? How do you see the world? I was 20 years old in a very small town in Austria. Everything is small in Austria. There is another world out there. So I immediately after I graduated, within a couple months, changed to become a waiter. Why a waiter? Because I thought that a waiter can go anywhere in the world and find a job. Interesting. I was correct. I could find a job anywhere. I worked myself up from waiter to food and beverage director, catering director. I worked in some of the best and some of the not so best hotels, and biggest and smallest in the world. I worked more or less in 2 countries every year. Somewhere I would be on an ocean. That may have been France, Italy. In the winter, Switzerland, Austria, Italy also, Africa. So I really saw the world and didn't just see it going vacation and kind of like a little bit live in a hotel and things like that. No, I learned about the culture. I was there. I was part of it. I made money in that country, whatever that type of money was. Beautiful. I achieved the first step of my quest, financial freedom, because I was free. Seeing the world was the major goal. I got that. Now, I had very little money in the pocket. Of course, I sometimes made okay money for an employee and for all those things and for that age. But that went out, just about the same night I made it, just like with most young people, and as it should be, I think. But I was free like a bird. I achieved the same step. So my next venture, my next big change came after maybe 5 or 7 years in the United States. I came here in about 81, worked still in the hotel business for quite a while in Chicago, Denver, things like that, New York. I then went into the consulting business consulting. In fact, I started consulting a little bit in the hotel business, didn't go so well. Started consulting dentists, doctors, chiropractors, went extremely well. And other businesses in other countries as I grew. Again, I thought as a consultant, I can travel the world. I can be anywhere more or less, because the basic business principle, the basic marketing principle, the basic principles on how to handle employees, people, how to handle customers, whatever it may be, we're all people, whether we're a boss, whether we're an employee, whether we're a customer, whether we sell, whether we buy, we're all people. And trust me, black, yellow, white, green, orange, Mexican, whatever language, in the end, we're all very, very much the same. The differences which we have are so minor that they don't even really count, despite the fact it's beautiful to know them. So I was right again. It got me around the world and kept getting me around the world. And I was learning business procedures and business habits, so to say, from around the world, because now I was really involved in helping a large company with 11,000 employees in India not to lay off 3,000 people. And yes, I managed. Actually, they didn't even hire me not to lay them off. They hired me to lay them smoothly off, and I convinced them not to lay them off because I showed them where they are missing. Where were they missing? In marketing. All right. So in either way, I did that. There was one additional, one beautiful extra thing compared to being a waiter and seeing the world and a consultant seeing the world. And that is, I started making money, good money. All right. So that was my second part, okay, of this whole type of things. In this whole venture of working with business people, I learned a tremendous amount of things. Somewhere in 1994, 5, I was at that time in India. The internet came about. It probably was there before, but that's when I kind of started realizing it and working with it a little bit. I remember sitting there 2 hours trying to be clicking the analog button on the to connect with my wife on the internet and send a lousy email. And then, of course, as time went on, we were part of it. We were doing things for doctors on the first search engines, what I think was the first search engines, because, Overture, for instance, when I was around then. And so we have been part of this whole internet thing with our clients almost all the time. Another things which I have been part and learned, many of our clients, be it in India, be it in China, be it in Latin America, even a couple American companies, they needed products. They needed clients from other countries. So they needed to source a particular product from another country, sometimes because it was only available in that country, sometimes because they thought it was cheaper in that country, China, and Korea these days, and Thailand, and things like that. Things are changing. And they were, of course, correct. I, for instance, in my little hobby venture in Austria, I have literally saved close to $1 million only buying from China and from Korea and from Turkey, rather than in Europe with the things I bought. And yet those people I would have bought them from in Europe would probably, most of them also have bought it from China, Korea, and Turkey. So I became good in sourcing products by doing it for my clients. I had to do it. They demanded it. I had to do it. So wonderful, okay? And this is why I'm telling you, okay, that I actually know the internet and feel very good, have a right to talk about how to make money on the internet without being chained to your practice, okay? Most of you could do it with a runway of 6 months, 4 months, 12 months, 20 months to study, and then to kind of dig into it and do it. 99.9% of you will never ever do it. This runway is too long, the work is too nerdy, you don't like it. I don't even like the nerdy work done on the computer. I hire people for that, people from other countries, people from Latin America, people from India, people from Afghanistan, people from Asia, and so on. Sometimes even people in the United States, where somebody wants to make extra dollar, has a job, does something, wants to do it at night, and asks very little money, $2, $3, $4, $5 an hour. But most of them, of course, are overseas, where those $2, $3, $4, $5 is worth as much as $20, $30 here. So there are many factors which I am well in control in order to do you do no work internet program to make money. This is called an affiliate program. Basically, those manufacturers who want to sell their product, which they all do. There isn't a single business in this world, your business, my business, Tesla, IBM, it wouldn't matter, McDonald's, any one of them need more new customers. A good car mechanic, without being a good marketing guy, a good business guy, one usually says business person, but really what it means is marketing person to a very high degree, will die. The best restaurant chefs, I see them dying all the time. I'm a mediocre chef. I have worked with some of the best chefs in the world, and that's how, by drinking a lots of whiskey with them, I have learned how to cook pretty goddamn good. Thus, I can actually cook in my event center in Austria myself. But here's the thing. There are many, many better chefs out there than I. They couldn't possibly make a restaurant. They try, and within 1 to 3 years, they are broke like hell, sometimes faster, because they do not know how to market. Me and my company, we do know how to market, okay? We and my company, we do know how to find products, because that was part of our whole thing. And by the way, finding products is a marketing activity. You know, you need to put your feelers out and then get back. Whether you put your feelers out to get clients or you put your feelers out for somebody to want to sell you something which you want, it's really the same principle. This is why I'm relatively apt at it. Okay, so I know how to market. The internet is second nature to me, and we know how to find products, and this is what is important for an affiliate program. An affiliate program is nothing else but a company looking for somebody to sell their product on the internet. That's it. No more, no less. It's like the old franchise. You know, McDonald's is looking for people to open a franchise. You give them $1 million, they let you open a franchise if you have worked for them before a little bit or whatever the requirements are. And then you market and you do the things you need to do, okay? And so are all other franchises. And so is multi-level marketing, and so is just about anything else. In fact, Sony or whatever, Apple, you know, they put their products into other stores. Apple does it not so much, but still have started doing so. Here in America, they put their stores into Best Buy, and I'm sure other stores also. Why? Those are affiliates or franchises or multi-level marketing guys, whatever you want to call it. It's the same principle since Jesus Christ, who had apostles to spread the message. Doesn't change. The name of the things change, and the internet calls it affiliate. All right? It's really that simple. And if you look at the trend of the internet and selling on the internet and how many people become super, super enormously rich, much more rich than you and me ever acquire to be or aspire to be, is enormous. Or what you probably don't know or haven't thought about it, just like kind of in the background, yeah, how many thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people make enormously good money, 4, 5, and 6-figure incomes per month on the internet, selling gadgets, selling things such as how-to plans, how to build a birdhouse, how to grow vegetable with little or no water in the city, or whatever it may be, investment opportunities, socks, all kinds of like things for the internet, of course, name it, health products, vitamins, creams, cosmetic, all kinds of things. Okay, in fact, there are companies out there who have affiliate programs to make tourism, medical tourism working. Hotels in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Mexico, Uruguay, Costa Rica. They hire people to market for them to get patients from the United States, Canada, Europe, because over there, their service is so much cheaper that even the traveling included, it is still maybe 1/3 or 1/2 of the price of here, which very often makes the difference for the person being able to do it. And then he has the added advantage of a vacation. So for all those things sold in the world, the companies looking for somebody to sell it. You do. That's why I have made a good living with dentists and doctors for 30 years, because you do need to sell more. So you hire people like me. Let me ask you a question. If you would be, in one shape or another, being able to say, okay, if you bring me a root canal, I give you Somebody says, if I bring your root canal, how much money do you give me? Will you give me $100, $150, $200? Your root canal costs whatever, $600, $800 these days, depends on where you are, etc., etc. You would probably say yes, or you would come to some agreement. You don't give the guy any money before the patient doesn't come in and pay. Wonderful. You would like it. Now, to a certain degree, what I just mentioned is illegal in the United States, so it can't really be done. So you need to spend your own marketing money out there and do it. And if you do it correct, it will always work out in the end beneficial to you. Not every marketing campaign will be beneficial, but in the end, it will be beneficial. World champions in car racing or whatever it may be do not win all the races. In fact, somebody I know from Austria has won the car racing Formula 1 championship, I think 3 times, and 3 times is number 2. Enormously good, almost died one time in a race, more or less. He won only about 20 or some % of all the races, and yet became world champion. You see what I'm trying to get at? Okay, it's very, very important to not to get hooked up with we need every client, we need every this, we need every campaign, everything must work. It's the end package which needs to work out. So if you could get somebody to send you patients, and you could only pay money then, that would be a good deal, because you could try to find 20, 30, 40 of those people. You know, more than 60 or 70% will bring you very, very little, and not enough for you to, so to say, write home mom about. But the other ones will bring you steady business, and you will be doing quite okay. Now, come to think about it, you're already doing that. If you accept insurance, that's what you do. They send you a patient, and you get less money from them because they send them to you. Even though most insurances which do that for you, with you, don't even send them to you. You still need to market for them, because actually every other doctor in town accepts the same insurance, more or less, if it's any good at all. And if it's not very good, well, that's just they take a bigger chunk. Like that, let's take HMO. HMO might just send to you, and how much you pay them for commission, not called that, of course. You just lower your price to what they say, which is almost at a level where you cannot survive. Okay? So you are doing affiliate marketing. You are hiring insurance companies to affiliate marketing. I'm not so sure I explained this very well, but I hope I did. In any case, give us a call. Here's the thing. The chances are very, very high that when you give us a call and talk about this, that you might or might not do our program. Okay? The truth of the matter is, in 30 years in the consulting business, at the very best, 25 to 35% of the people who talk to us sign up. Doesn't matter what program we have at the time. And is that good or bad? I don't know. Makes me a good living. And it's rather normal, because if you look at it, no matter what you do out there, you know, why do we have the 0.01%, the 1%, the 3%, the 5%? Because very few people actually do things. They ask millions of questions of why it couldn't go well. They're looking for reasons why it couldn't go well. And if anybody looks for reasons why something, whatever it may be in the world, might not go well, you don't need to look very far. There's millions of reasons for everything why it perhaps doesn't go well. So most people do not engage in new things. Otherwise, we all would have been part of the oil business. I mean, Mr. Rockefeller had good friends, real good buddy friends, who he wanted to be part of him with the business, and they didn't, because it was obviously not a good idea. Right. So anyway, even if you do not sign up, let me tell you this. You will love this conversation, which takes, 40 minutes to an hour. Set yourself an hour aside, because you will be asking interesting questions for you. And even if you don't do it, it will be a knowledge of what is happening out there and how it is happening, which you do want to know. Because a week, a month, a year, or 5 years later, as you become more aware of these things, you will perhaps find some type of opportunity which then does interest you, even though you don't know our name anymore. So, go to the internet, go to the website, or pick up the phone with the number on there, whatever it is you see, and give us a call and set that appointment. You will love it. Bye-bye.